Dark river at night, mist rising. A golden comb gleams, a woman's reflection smiles before her face doors. Storehouse overflowing with cloth, palm oil, and coins. Villagers stare in awe. She was beautiful, and her love brought riches beyond dreams. While death followed every step, Obina cried out. A preacher thundered, "In the name of Jesus, leave him." Beauty ripped into horror. Her scream shook the trees, and with the final curse, she vanished like mist. His riches crumbled, but his soul was free, and his warning still echoes. A mermaid wife may promise the world, but only Jesus gives life. They said he was the luckiest fisherman in the whole of Akwete village. But if you had seen the way he died, you would never envy his kind of luck. Obina was a man born into the shadows of lack. His father, a palm wine tapper, had died young, leaving only death and a mud hut that leaned as if tired of standing. His mother carried baskets of firewood to the market. Her back bent, her body hardened by years of hunger. Obina grew up with calloused hands, thin ribs, and the kind of poverty that stains a man like smoke on cloth. He fished because there was nothing else to do. At dawn, he would push his canoe into the muddy river, throw out his nets, and return hours later with nothing but small tilapia, hardly fat enough to fry. The other fishermen mocked him. "Obina, your net catches only ghosts. Even the fishes pity your poverty." He laughed with them, but the laughter was hollow. His heart burned each time he saw another man return home to his wife with baskets heavy with fish, while he returned to his mother with nothing. Women turned away when he approached them for marriage. "Marry Obina," they scoffed. "Better to starve alone." But Obina's hunger was not only for food. He hungered for wealth, for recognition, for respect. He prayed in the evenings, kneeling by the river, whispering, "God, even if you give me only a little, let me taste wealth. Let me silence those who mock me." But the river stayed empty, the heavens stayed quiet, and his poverty deepened. It was during the dry season that everything changed. The river had shrunk into a thin, sluggish snake. The fishermen cursed the gods and abandoned their canoes. But Obina, stubborn as ever, pushed his canoe into the forbidden deep end, where no one dared to go. The sun blazed mercilessly overhead, yet suddenly a mist rose from the water, rolling and cold, curling around his canoe like ghostly fingers. His heart raced, he looked ahead, and his paddle froze. There, waist deep in the water, stood a woman. She was combing her long black hair with a golden comb that shimmered with each stroke. Her wrapper glowed with patterns that shifted like fish scales in sunlight, colors no weavers in Akwete had ever made. Her skin was smooth, luminous, as though carved from moonlight, and her eyes pulled him in like whirlpools, deep and endless. She smiled at him, and it was a smile both tender and terrifying. "Who are you?" Obina whispered, his voice trembling. "I am a traveler," she said softly, her voice like honey dipping into cold water. "I am lost. Will you help me?" That day, Obina returned not with fish, but with the woman herself. Her name was Nena. No one knew her family. No one had ever seen her before, but her beauty silenced all questions. Men forgot their wives when she passed. Women chewed bitterness like cola in their mouth, and children stared in awe. Within weeks, Obina married her, despite his mother's tears. "My son," she pleaded, "beauty without history is a curse. Where are her people? Where are her kingsmen?" But Obina was deaf with desire. From the day Nena stepped into his hut, fortune reigned. His nets overflowed every morning, so heavy he needed 2 men to help him drag them ashore. Traders far and wide sought him out, offering to buy his fish before he even left the river. Goats, chickens, and yams multiplied around his compound. Within a year, Obina built the first zinc roof house in Akwete, with bright paint on the walls and chairs from the city. The man once mocked as the poorest became the envy of all. People whispered, Obinna is blessed. His wife has brought him fortune. But blessings that come too fast often cast long shadows. Children began to die. Their bodies were found by the river, their eyes open, their skin pale as chalk, as if something had drained them of life. At first, no one connected them to Obinna. But when his closest friend, Nwachukwu, drowned mysteriously in the same waters where Obinna had first seen Nenna, people began to murmur. Ever since that woman came, death has been walking in our village. Obinna silenced them with gifts, bags of rice, clothes and money. He bought silence with generosity, but silence bought with gifts cannot silence God. At night, Obinna began to notice things. Nenna would vanish from their bed, leaving the sheets with wet dew. He heard waves crashing though the river was still. Once, he followed and saw her by the riverbank. Her wrapper discarded, her legs gone, replaced by a shimmering silver tail that slapped the waves. She was singing in a tongue he could not understand, and voices from beneath the river answered. His knees weakened, his heart thumped like a drum, and he stormed back into the darkness. By dawn, she was back in bed, smiling as though nothing had happened. He tried to tell himself it was a dream, but dreams do not leave wet footprints across the floor. The village priest visited him one evening, staff in hand, his face carved with worry. "My son," he said, "your wife is not flesh and blood. She is Mami Wata, a spirit of the waters. Wealth today, destruction tomorrow. Send her away before she buries you." Obinna sneered. "Father, is it sin for a man to prosper? If God did not want me rich, why give me Nenna?" The priest's eyes darkened. Not every gift is from God. But Obinna would not listen. Then calamity struck. His mother, who had warned him, was found dead in her hut. Her body was cold and covered in scales, like a fish left in the sun. At her burial, thunder cracked though the sky was cloudless, and rain fell only on Obinna's compound. People fled in terror, whispering that the gods had cursed him. Days later, his goat stopped eating. His chicken died without reason, and his farmland withered into dust. Yet, strangely, his wealth increased. Cloth, oil, and money filled his storehouse. Traders came with gifts and contracts. His riches grew like wheat, even as everything else decayed. But Obinna's soul was restless. He dreamed of drowning every night, of hands dragging him into black waters. He woke gasping, water in his lungs. He heard laughter when he was alone, low and cruel laughter rising from the river. Once, during a feast, the palm wine in every cup turned into blood. Guests screamed and fled, but Nenna lifted her cup calmly and drank. "Don't worry, my husband," she said with a sweet smile. "Even spirits drink into your health." Her humor was darker than midnight, and her laughter chilled him more than silence. The final blow came when his cousin Chinedu, a boy who loved him like a brother. Chinedu drank water from Obinna's compound and fell ill. His skin grew ashen, his veins blackened, and his voice cracked. Before he died, he clutched Obinna's hand and whispered, "Brother, your wife, she is not human." At his funeral, Nenna sang a dish so haunting that the mourners wailed uncontrollably, even long after the burial. That night, Obinna stumbled into the room and saw her combing her hair before a mirror. Her reflection smiled before her real face did. He collapsed, whispering, "God, help me." One evening, a traveling preacher entered Akwete. He was barefoot, carrying nothing but a Bible, yet his voice burned with fire. At the village square, he declared, "There is blood greater than the waters, a name higher than evil spirits, Jesus Christ, who sets captives free." Obinna staggered there, hollowed eyes, desperate. Nenna followed him silently. When the preacher prayed, Nenna screamed. Her beauty twisted into terror, Her eyes glowed like fire. Her teeth sharpened. Her body rippled, shifting between woman and serpent, between wife and mermaid. The ground trembled. Villagers scattered in terror, shouting. Obinna fell into the ground, weeping, "Save me, Lord. I was blind, but now I see. Take my wealth, take my life, only deliver my soul." The preacher raised the Bible and thundered, "In the name of Jesus, leave him." Nenna shrieked, her laughter turning to rage. Her silver tail flashed, her body twisted, her voice cracked with curses. The air grew thick with the smell of salt water, and then, with a final scream that shook the trees, she vanished in the mist. Silence fell, broken only by Obinna's sobs. The preacher lifted him and whispered, "The blessing of God make rich and add no sorrow." From that day, Obinna's world disappeared like smoke. His house crumbled, his farm died, his name was spat on in the market, but he was free. He returned to fishing, poor once again, but at peace. He told everyone who would listen, "Do not envy quick riches, do not marry strange beauty. Wealth without God is bondage. Only Christ gives peace." People mocked him still, but his eyes shone with a light no riches could buy. And so, the man once called the luckiest fisherman became the greatest warning in Akwete. For in a world where rivers hide spirits and shortcuts hide chains, one truth stands firm. A mermaid wife may promise the world, but only Jesus gives life.
Please subscribe to watch more of our videos. Thank you.